Welcome into Dolphins Today. I'm your host, Will Scott. Hope you are all having a fantastic Wednesday. And guys, the Dolphins are on the verge of potentially making another big splash in NFL free agency. They brought in edge rusher Melvin Ingram for a visit yesterday. Melvin Ingram last season played for both the Steelers and the Chiefs. He was traded midseason. He really didn't have that much of an impact on that Pittsburgh defense. And then he goes to Kansas City and is fantastic. He's been really good throughout his entire career, a three-time Pro Bowler from his time with the Chargers, both in San Diego and Los Angeles from 2017 to 2019. So he has been really, really good throughout his entire career. He's coming off of a one-year, $4 million contract last season. So you may be able to get him for pretty cheap. And as I said, he played really, really well with the Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't have much of an impact in Pittsburgh. Just one start in 6 games played. Then he goes to Kansas City, 6 starts in 9 games, 5 quarterback hits, a sack, and 15 tackles. So he made a pretty big impact on that Kansas City defense that made a playoff run. These are his stats from both teams, 25 tackles, 2 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss. So I think that he proved in Kansas City that he still has some juice. Taking a look here at the year-by-year numbers, yes, his productivity has gone down a little bit since he's gotten a little bit older, but you have an opportunity here if you're Miami to bring in a veteran edge rusher to add depth to that position. And maybe he can be kind of a leader on that defense, mentor some of the younger guys like Jalen Phillips. So let me ask you, do you want to sign Melvin Ingram? Type your Y for yes or your N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. Take advantage when you're hit with an ad break here in a few seconds. I'm going to type my Y for yes. This would be huge, and I mean huge, for this Miami defense. Taking a look at how he might fit in this Miami defense, you have a lot of different edge rushers on this team that are expected to make an impact. Andrew Van Ginkel, Jalen Phillips, of course. You know, Phillips coming off of his rookie season last year, I think he's due for a really big year, too. And, of course, you bring back Emmanuel Ogbah, re-signing him. Christian Wilkins, fantastic on the other side of that defensive line as well. So he would probably be behind one of those guys. And yes, you're pretty good right now with your edge rushers, but depth is always a good thing. It's always good to have depth because injuries are going to happen. You have a 17-game season. You cannot predict who might go down when. It's good to have depth. And I think that he makes this Miami defense dangerous if you're able to bring him in, because you're going to be able to put him in on third down situations when you want to blitz. He's not going to drop back into pass coverage. He's going to be more of an edge rusher, but he's going to be really big on third downs when you can insert him in to that Miami defense. And hey, look, he went to South Carolina. You know who else also went to South Carolina? Deebo Samuel. I'm just saying, if he's a free agent next year, that might help. So, Dolphins fans, if you love the Dolphins and you want more Dolphins videos here on Dolphins Today, go ahead and like this video. The more likes, the more subs, the more content that you are going to get back at home. Here's what Ryan Smith of PFF said. Melvin Ingram generated 51 pressures on 460 pass rushing snaps last year, or 1 in every 9 snaps. Emmanuel Ogbah generated 61 in 524 snaps, or every 1 in every 8.6 snaps. So that could be huge. Having both of those guys on the field at the same time, the pressure you're going to be able to put on opposing quarterbacks. Mac Jones is shaking right now at the thought of potentially Melvin Ingram coming to Miami, which would add to this list of moves they've made on the defensive side this year. Taking a look at some of those moves here. So these are all the moves on the defensive side of the football that the Dolphins have made this offseason. They've obviously made a lot of noise on the offensive side, bringing in Armstead, bringing in Connor Williams, bringing in those running backs, and, of course, trading for Tyreek Hill. They brought pretty much everybody back on the defense. You bring in Keon Cross and you sign him. He's the lone outside player that you brought in That Byron Jones contract restructure, huge, because the Xavier Howard extension happened shortly thereafter. And then last week they re-signed John Jenkins. So you tell me, Dolphins fans, out of all those moves, what is the favorite move for you that the Dolphins have made defensively this offseason? For me, it's got to be Emmanuel Ogbah, because bringing him back was a must for this Miami team. Be sure to subscribe to our Miami Dolphins YouTube channel. We're the best Dolphins channel on the tube, no question about it. So we're getting closer to 24,000 subscribers. We'd appreciate you subscribing to this video, and be sure to subscribe to Chat Sports' main account. We got a lot of draft coverage coming up on that. We're going to be going live during the NFL draft. You know, the thing that bothers me about ESPN is they don't show, once you get into, the third, fourth, fifth round, they don't show every selection. We're going to be breaking down every pick here on Chat Sports, and I'm going to be involved in that when the Dolphins pick in rounds 3, 4. There are 2 picks in round 7. I will be breaking down each pick the Dolphins have made. The link is going to be in the description and in the comments, so be sure to subscribe to Chat Sports for our draft coverage. Speaking of the draft, the Dolphins have met recently with 2 prospects. We've been breaking that down. We've been talking about every person that they brought in for a meeting. Today, they're bringing in Zach Tom, who's one of the best centers in this draft. I love this because they're prioritizing bringing on another center. I don't think Chris Grier, much like myself, is satisfied with just having Michael Dieter on the roster. You need more depth at that position. You might need to draft a center, have them compete with Dieter for the starting job. And Zach Tom is a very intriguing prospect because check this out. He had the highest relative athletic score of any center of all time. This is a grade that they're on a 0 to 10 scale, and he had a perfect score, 10 out of 10. And RAS is this is how it works. It measures height, weight, 40-time, bench press, really all those measurables that come in from the NFL Combine. You kind of add all those up together, and that is your relative athletic score. Zach Tom, the highest of any center of all time, had a really good Combine. His stock has rose. He should be on the board when the Dolphins pick in round 4. And Miami should take a center with one of their first picks in either round 3 or round 4 if you do not sign J.C. Tretter. If you sign J.C. Tretter or another center in free agency, that changes things. But if you don't, you have to prioritize taking a center in round 3 or round 4. So let me ask you this. Would you rather draft a linebacker or an offensive lineman in the 3rd round? Linebacker is another need for Miami potentially. There might be a big one on the board in round 3 with Channing Tindall potentially falling to round 3. They met with Tindall the other day, by the way. So let me know if you would rather take a center or an offensive lineman in the 3rd round, or center or linebacker in the 3rd round, I should say. I'm going to type my OL for that offensive line. So here is who they also met with this week. Cameron Goode out of the University of California. Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald reporting that. He wasn't invited to the NFL Combine, which was a surprise. He's likely going to be an undrafted free agent. 37 career starts, 20.5 sacks. I think he's a very underrated prospect. And with the Dolphins only having 4 draft picks in this year's draft, they're expected to bring in more undrafted free agents. Cameron Goode may be one of those guys. So we're going to keep you up to date. We're going to keep you informed with every prospect the Dolphins have met with. They started with Cortez Davis, J.T. Woods out of Baylor, Dedrick Mackey. I think Cortez and Mackey are both going to go undrafted, maybe some undrafted free agents that the Dolphins will sign. Channing Tindall out of Georgia. He put on a show in the national championship game. He might be on the board in round 3. I've seen some mocks that have him falling to 102. If he's there at 102, I know I brought up drafting Luke Fortner or a center. He may be too good to pass up. Zach Tom, they're meeting with him today. Cameron Goode, they met with him earlier this week. They can meet with up to 30 prospects. Those are the 6 we know for a fact that they've met with. Help us get to 24,000 subs. We're about 300 away, so if you haven't hit that big red subscribe button, please do so right now. Thanks for watching this edition of Dolphins Today. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know what you think about the Fins' moves and if they should bring in Melvin Ingram. Thanks for watching. This has been Will Scott, and as always, go Fins.